Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
And this is Caroline.
Bloody Happy Hour here. Hello, hello.
Hello, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We got a drink or two. And
What is today?
it's Caroline's birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, feliz cumpleaños. Happy birthday to Caroline.
I mean, I do feel 25.
But you're actually what?
40.
40.
40 and 40. And
Bitch is 40.
you know,
And you don't even feel
I
it or
feel
look
like
it.
I look like I'm the same age as 10 years ago. And it's weird.
That's
'cause
what
it's
matters.
Like, yeah, it's weird because I'm like, I should be like,
More mature, more grown up.
Yes.
More mature.
I should be more responsible and grown up and like
I
have
don't know
like
that we ever
3
do.
kids and all the things.
No, that would make shit harder.
Hell
Then
no. I'm gonna stick with my 2 dogs and like
kids,
yeah.
no.
I just as long as the skin stays at a good level in the collagen.
As long as the black don't crack.
Yeah, as long as that black don't crack. I've been earling myself up lately because it's starting to get real dry.
Yes.
I've been earling it up.
Do you know Hispanics and black people believe in all the oil, the Vaseline, the petroleum jelly.
Bro, I got all of it.
The coconut oil.
Yes, I got all of it. I have it all. I literally have it all.
You gotta hydrate your skin.
Yes.
Okay, so it's Caroline's birthday, so I'm doing the story today, but I am copying a Family Annihilator story. When she told me she was doing Chris Watts, I had seen this documentary probably a couple weeks ago, but I wasn't ready to do it. But I was ready to do it now. Mm-hmm. So this is the infamous story of Susan Powell. Mm-hmm. This is how I remember this story. When Crime Junkie kind of first came out, mm-hmm. Britt told the story. Like, she's only told a couple stories. She's told the
I did not know
Girl
she
Scout
even told
murders.
The story.
She did the Girl Scout murders in Oklahoma.
Was Ashley like on her deathbed or what was
No, Ashley just let her have some control, I guess.
Weird.
And then she did this story. But because it involves foster care, remember she's a foster
Oh, maybe
mom
that's
or
why
whatever.
okay.
But she did a great job. Okay, so I listened to a couple of podcasts. I watched the documentary. There's Disappearance of Susan Powell. There's so much out there on this. It is a big case, but it's not the one that's like at the top of your head when you talk about Family Annihilators. It's always Watts and Peterson. So Susan Cox was her maiden name, met Josh Powell, mm-hmm. And they got married on April 6, 2001. They had only been dating for 2 months. Is that a red flag or is that a...
I'm going to hold up the red flag.
Red flag.
Yeah. Ding, ding.
And
that's...
Susan's family was not happy about it at all. They did not like him. They said that Josh was arrogant, creepy, and he just couldn't get right. Like, he just wasn't right. They
more
did
red
not
flags.
trust him.
Oh,
Red
gosh.
flag. And Susan's mom even told her that Josh, when she looks at Josh, she just sees darkness. And I just think always listen to your mom. Unless your mom's like a crackhead and like she's done you wrong your whole life, the mama knows.
The mama knows. It's so crazy.
So red flag number 1, 2 months of dating. Red flag number 2, mama don't trust them. Red flag number 3, they belong to a Church of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, hell. We knew we was doing something, okay? Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So, well, you know, Susan, she just really, more than anything, wanted to be a wife and wanted to be a mother. So she didn't listen to mama, and they got married. When they got married in Washington, I believe. But they eventually moved to the most sketchiest state. What state do you think they're going to if they're Church of Latter-day Saints and it's a sketchy marriage? Utah. They're going to Utah. And then they had 2 kids named Charlie and Braden. So they were so happy, Caroline, for 17 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, that's not very long.
And then after that, not so much, because turns out Josh was very, very, very quick-tempered. He was never physically abusive, but like he would yell, throw, and break things when things didn't go his way. So he would throw these adult temper tantrums.
But if you throw them alone, is it fine?
Yes, because
Yes,
you're not.
'cause you're not. 'Cause nobody
You're
is
not affecting anybody.
Exactly.
And it's probably healthy.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I know a friend who may do that.
However, because your wife didn't do something the way you wanted to do it.
Yeah, you
throw
didn't
a
fold the
kitchen
napkins right on the
around
table, and
kids.
you didn't
Yes.
set the thing right, and you didn't cook the steak and all the things.
Not a reason.
Nothing.
And I don't know if men can throw adult temper tantrums. Like, I think that shrinks the size of your wee-wee.
Yes, it absolutely does.
Pretty sure it does.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
So he was also very, very controlling. Yeah. She was not allowed to spend much money at all. And she had to ask permission to drive the family vehicle.
Is this part of the religion, though?
No.
No, this is nothing to
No,
do with
this is all Josh Powell.
Okay.
That would be closer to a cult.
Yes.
They're knocking on the door of a cult, but not quite.
Yep, they're maybe going to start their own.
So he made her bike to work, and that was 7 miles to and fro.
Maybe
So she probably had a nice
to.
ass.
Yeah.
She probably had nice legs, nice ass.
I should start doing that.
Biking to and from
To
where?
and fro.
Work. Yeah. Well, 7 miles, that's 14 miles a day.
I mean, but you can get there pretty quick on a bike.
On a bike, maybe. Okay, so if you can
I mean, I don't know what's pretty
run
quick.
7 miles in 10 minutes, if you can drive 7 miles in 7 minutes, what would a bike be? Like 20 minutes, like 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back?
You can
don't
run
know.
7 miles in 10
Oh, sorry,
minutes.
a mile in a minute, a mile. So 7 miles in 70 minutes. I'm just saying the average mile is 10 minutes a mile.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 30.
Wait, if you're running it, okay, in a bike, 30 miles, maybe so.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah. So he even would complain about feeding the boys at night because he was really cheap. He didn't want her to spend money. So he would complain about her having to buy groceries, but she was buying groceries so that they can cook dinner in the evening. So Josh was like, they eat breakfast and lunch at daycare. Why do they need to eat again when they come home? Why do they need dinner?
Who needs food?
Yeah.
Why would you waste
Growing
food?
kids do not need food.
No. Put
So
them to
then,
bed.
if she did, like there was one account where she had to borrow some hot dogs from a friend, he made them split a hot dog. It's not funny.
Why was
but
he so obsessed with making sure they didn't have food?
I think it's just more controlling.
It's the control aspect.
Split a hot dog? 2 kids. Okay.
And is it just the wiener, or is it like the wiener and the bun?
And the bun. So they, like if There
Do
was
they
the
even
hot.
get
So instead
chili?
of them, so that was a way to save groceries. Like, don't give them one hot dog each.
Well, how many hot dogs did he get? 4?
Split a hot dog. Yeah, he probably ate 14 of them.
I cannot.
He even made her knit her own socks. We should have screenshotted that face. Like, that's not even saving money because yarn and time. So
Yeah.
that's exerting control. It's all about that. She had to do all the cooking, she had to do all the cleaning, and he could not even keep a job. So she did it all. She went to work, she cooked, she cleaned, and he could not consistently keep a job, but then he wanted to manage all the finances. It makes total sense.
Oh, yeah.
So, this happens a lot when we're talking about like these different religious and like marriages. It's like she just didn't want a divorce, so she put up with it because she didn't want to shame herself and her family with her faith was just that big. So for the longest time, she put up with it and she put up with it. But she eventually started contemplating divorce, and she was talking to her friends about it. She even like gave them an ultimatum and was like, if you don't like stop this controlling stuff, I'm gonna have to we're gonna leave, and I'm taking the boys.
I think sometimes I know not a lot of people like talk to their friends about anything in their troubles and or that maybe they'll have one or two friends.
Yeah.
But some I just think even you don't have to give every detail, but maybe if there's just like some big things that are going on, it's always good to tell like a close friend about just
so that they know.
Because I mean that's kind of what
Last
Shanann's friend she was just like. I mean, I feel like she gave too much info.
Well,
But
had
she not, the girl would not have been even concerned. She would have just been like,
or so eager to go
okay.
check on her and go see her. So yeah. So people say, "Oh, I'm just real private." I'm not. Sometimes private means prideful, right? And then you don't tell when you could be helped or somebody can be helping you or it can prevent something from later on.
Yeah.
So everybody should have their at least couple of people that they feel comfortable enough to tell things to.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst of things.
The worst of the worst.
So, she's now contemplating divorce because she's had enough. And when she gave him the ultimatum, he told her, "Over my dead body, you will ever leave me."
Okay.
So now it's December 7th, 2009. So they've been married for 8 years. And Josh's mom, husband's mom, calls 911 and reports Susan, Josh, and the 2 boys missing. December 7th, 2009. The daycare called and said that they had never showed up. And neither one of them had showed up to work. So Susan didn't show up. Josh had a job for 5 seconds. He didn't show up to work. Boys didn't show up to daycare.
Where's her bike?
So daycare, she didn't have a flat. So the daycare lady calls the next person on the list, right? You have like the emergency contact, which to me, I was like, what? I mean, why would the daycare person even care this much? Like maybe they were just absent on it, on a day, and you have one less kid.
I think,
maybe you had to like call in,
I think
but
maybe
here's
you
why,
have
because I had to look it in
for an absence. If
I had
your
to look
kid's
it up.
sick or something. Well, I do know you do have to notify the school if your kid has a fever or whatever, and then they're not allowed to come the next day or whatever. But so maybe it was that kind of a situation where they were like, well, they didn't call that they weren't coming, or because they're so young.
Maybe grandma no. Yeah. So they called the grandma, and so the grandma was like, oh my goodness, they didn't show up. So grandma calls police, and police go to the Powell home, and they break into the home with permission of grandma. Josh's mom was like, break in, go check on them. So what I found out is there had been some families that had died of carbon monoxide poisoning. It's really cold, Utah. It's been snowing. Sometimes you have like these different gas and propane heaters. So there had been some leaks. And so And, a couple other families hadn't showed up to daycare, hadn't showed up to work. And when they checked on them, they were all dead in the house. Oh. So that's why they were more vigilant on. Yeah. And so that's why Mama Powell was like, go in and make sure it's okay. Yeah. So that's why I was moving pretty quick. So then when police get in there, they noticed that there were 2 big box fans plugged up and blowing on the couch. Like the couch had been wet, part of the carpet had been wet, and it was just like blowing like it was drying something up. Mm-hmm. Susan's purse was in the bedroom, untouched, and the house was completely like locked up. There was fresh snow on the ground, and there were no signs of like feet or feet prints or like tire marks in the driveway. So it had been snowing for a while. Yeah. So they had determined nobody had been at the house for a while because you would have saw some tire tracks or footprints or something. They didn't see any of that. So there's a best friend named Giovanna. And she was the last person to see the family. And she had told the police that she was at the Powell house just the day before. And Josh was making pancakes, which she thought was weird because he did not think a man's place was in the kitchen.
Yeah, why is he making pancakes?
And he's making pancakes. And so she was like, I didn't stay very long because Susan just kind of hinted to me that she wasn't feeling good and she was going to lay down. And as soon as she said that, Josh hurried up, walked me to my door, walked me out, and says, okay, bye. I'm going to go take the kids sledding. And Josh left and she left at the same time. Okay? So it had been 16 hours since anybody had seen any of the Powells. And Giovanna, during 18 hours, had been calling them, calling Josh, calling Susan, calling Josh, calling Susan. She finally gets a hold of Josh. He answers the phone like it's just
hello.
Normal day. Hello. So she is like, where are you? Where are y'all? Where's Susan? Where are the kids? People are so worried. Police are at your house. And he was like, oh, I'm in West Valley with the boys. I took them camping, but Susan's at work.
Yeah.
And Giovanna was like, no, sir. She did not show up to work. We were worried because you didn't show up. She didn't show up. The boys didn't show up. So he's like, okay, it's fine. I'm on my way home. I'll be there in a little bit. When he leaves this campsite, he drives 20 minutes in the opposite direction.
Oh, where you going, Josh?
And then he makes a phone call. And who do you think he calls? Susan's phone.
I was thinking real hard.
And he leaves Susan a voicemail, and he's like, hey, I hope you got to work okay.
Oh.
See you later.
Yeah, love you.
But Giovanna just told you Susan didn't make it to work. So, but maybe he's just checking and thinking,
yeah, okay.
Giovanna, she may be screening Giovanna's calls, but she's not going to screen his calls, right?
Yeah.
So Detective Alex Maxwell calls him. And it had now been like, you were supposed to be home at this time. It had now been hours over the time that you said you're going to be coming home. And he's like, where are you at? He says, get here because something is wrong. Your wife is missing. And Josh is like, okay, bet. I'll be there. But I need to feed my kids first.
Oh, now you're going to feed them?
Now.
Oh.
Now they're worth feeding.
Like get just a half a
hot dog
again?
I need to go get them a half a hot dog. But instead of going home, he goes to Susan's job. And he sits outside in the parking lot and he calls Susan and he's like, Susan, I'm outside in the parking lot waiting for you. I'll see you in a minute. I'm here to pick you up. And Susan never comes out because she didn't show up for work. So he finally gets home and the detectives take him to the police station because they're already like, this dude is sketchy.
WTF. And
Josh tells him that he had not seen Susan since midnight the night before. Midnight, weird time.
Weird time.
How come you didn't see her that morning? Like, how come you haven't talked to her since then? So he said that Giovanna left, and he took the boys sledding, just like he told Giovanna. And when he came home, they watched a Christmas movie, but he can't remember the Christmas movie, but he just knows it had Santa in it.
Okay. Then it's a winner. Great.
Then, randomly at midnight, the boys, who are 2 and 4, wanted s'mores, Caroline. So what do you do if your kids want s'mores at midnight?
I mean, I guess you have to light a fire.
No, you tell their ass to go to bed. It's midnight. Take your ass to bed.
Well, plus they're not allowed to eat, so.
Yeah, you don't even have stuff for s'mores.
Yeah.
But, so he was like, they wanted s'mores, so I took them camping. It's totally normal.
At midnight?
At midnight. With the blizzard outside.
They wanna wait.
It's 18 degrees. 18 degrees. There's a blizzard outside.
No.
And okay, so then I would be like, okay, I'd be okay if he like put a tent up in the backyard and they went camping.
Yeah.
No, he went to a campsite 2 hours away, allegedly. So you're driving in a blizzard.
Hit a blizzard.
2 hours away.
Because the boys wanted s'mores.
Because they wanted s'mores.
Okay.
What a good dad.
Oh my gosh, Dad of the Year.
Police said, where do you think your wife is? And he's like, she's at work.
She's always at work. She works so hard. Oh my gosh.
And they're like, sir, we've told you 77 times she did not show up to work. Hence the reason that there's a missing persons report right now. And she's not at work.
Yeah.
Then he's like, okay, can I go now? And they let him go because they have no reason to keep him. So they were like, but you know what? We need a formal interview tomorrow. So come back tomorrow at this time for a formal interview.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, I'll be there. So he goes home. And the next morning, his sister and his mom, I believe, show up to watch the boys while he goes to this interview. And when they show up, he is... he's just such a good helper. He's cleaning out the car, full detail.
Oh my, that's
cleaning
amazing.
the house, full. I mean, like,
yeah.
he's getting it ready for when Susan comes home. Maybe it's a surprise.
Yes.
Things
Things he's never done before.
Probably didn't even know how to do it. He gets to the interview 4 hours late. This is beyond colored people's time.
This is way past CPT.
Way beyond CPT. So police are like, they're not even mad because they're there, and they're long as he's there, they're going to question him. So they're like, Josh, we see that you called Susan a couple times yesterday. After you talked to Giovanna, you called Susan a couple times. But, why would you call Susan if you had her phone?
Oh, why would you do that?
Why would you do that? And he was like, oh, yeah, I forgot I had her phone.
Oh, a little amnesia, slight amnesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going through
Sorry
a lot.
about that.
Going through a
Sorry,
lot.
forgot I had her phone. But he says it so matter-of-factly that he makes you think like you're like...
He's gaslight.
Yes.
Yeah. He makes you question your own judgment. You're like, wait, what?
Yes. The police were like, oh, I'm in the wrong. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I...
Never mind, let me check my notes.
Why am I a detective? So she, so then he tries to say, they're like, she's been missing. Is there any reason, like, did she have any enemies? Do you think, would she just leave? Is she suicidal? And he was like, yes, all of the above. She is suicidal.
Okay.
She's threatened it multiple times. So he was like grabbing at all the things, options that they threw out there. After the interview, after they're done, they talked to him for a couple hours, and they're like, okay, you're almost free to go, but we forgot to tell you we had a search warrant, and we're currently searching your house and your car. So you can't leave in your car yet, but you can have it in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So he, instead of waiting the 20 minutes, he called a taxi, went to the airport, and got a rental car. Mm-hmm. And then he disappears for 20 hours straight. When they get the rental car back, he had driven 800 miles on the rental car. That is across the country, I feel like.
I would think so.
800 miles? You're in Utah. 800 miles. But also, they find out that Josh's dad, Steve, was also missing for 20 hours during this time.
What?
And Steve's cell phone was off this whole time. So then they're like, something sketchy with Josh, and then something has to be sketchy with Steve. Who is this Steve? Let me see Steve. So they interview Steve, and this is when shit gets really weird because Steve, we're gonna call him Gross Steve. Do you remember him?
Call him PDF Steve. That means pedophile.
Pedophile Steve.
Okay, this is so exciting. There's another
Now you
Susan
remember.
Powell or Susan Cox story or whatever. And I don't know if I thought they were two different ones, but this is the one
going.
with the... Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's coming. Because it takes a little bit. When you hear the peak, you'll be like, this is it.
Climax, if you will.
Yes. So he admits that he had deep, deep feelings for his daughter-in-law.
Deep feelings.
And that he also said that
She was gorgeous.
she craved his attention.
Of course.
And that they also find all these videos that Stephen had of Susan. And in these videos, it didn't seem like Susan knew she was being videotaped.
Oh, it's like a hidden camera or something.
Yeah, like it was like it would
was
be
just like, hey, what
she
are
would
you-
be
oh,
walking
you're
into
changing?
work. Yes.
Oh, you're taking off your bra right now and put on a shirt? Like,
Whoops.
what?
She would be walking into work, and he would be across the street in another parking lot videoing her close up. And there was at one point when she like scratched her leg, and he was like, "Oh, that's for me."
Yes.
She did that for
Yes.
me.
So disgusting. You're so gross.
She would be at one point. Josh and Susan lived with them because Josh had lost a job, and they were low on money. And he would video her like doing her makeup or doing her hair. He would zoom in like on her butt and her legs, and he would say stuff like, "God, I worship her."
Yes.
This is his daughter-in-law.
A daughter-in-law, and it's
And he's
so
gross.
freaking creepy and gross.
He would steal some of her clothing, like her bras, her underwear, and he would video them. So her underwear and her bra were in this video, and he would video himself smelling them.
Was this so I don't know.
Susan, your mama told you there's something ain't right.
Yeah, with the whole family.
So he had even suggested at one time that he and Josh should share her. And they're in Utah, so it wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
She was totally grossed out. She told people that she knew, and so when they moved out, she did not want to have anything to do with Josh's dad
Thank
anymore.
goodness.
Now, before she had went missing, she had contacted a divorce lawyer who told her, why don't you go get a video camera and you walk through the house and just basically video all the assets because it'll be divided down the middle. And so this video is out there. You can see it, but it's pretty eerie now, knowing like what happened and that she was kind of solemn. But basically, you know that she was preparing for a divorce, okay? She had also said that Josh had been watching a lot of forensic files and would make comments on, that's where he messed up. See, if he had done this and not this, he would have gotten away with it. See, he should have dumped the body in this, like, landmine or in the mountains somewhere where they would never find it. Like, he would make these comments like that and basically say if he ever murdered, he would not get caught. So police dig into family history more, and they want to like find more about like the Powell home, and they find some shitty shit.
Oh no.
Josh is sketchy, but he's sketchy because the daddy was obviously sketchy. But there was an older sister named Jen. Big sissy Jen.
Okay.
And she starts singing like a bird with the police. She was like, there are 5 kids total. And she said that they would all wet the bed and that their dad would make them take ice baths if they wet the bed because he wanted to shock their system so that they wouldn't wet the bed anymore. Ice baths are hard anyways, but if you're an athlete, what's the point? if you're not recovering, like, what's the point? And why
You're
would a
just
little
being
kid?
tortured.
Yes. So he also had a severe porn addiction that he would show them and or just watch it in the living room in front of them while they are just going about their day. Porn.
The hell?
She recalled going to a conference with her dad, and they stayed in a hotel. She was in one bed, he was in another.
Oh, no.
But he turned on, bought some porn, and turned some graphic porn on TV while she's a little kid laying in the bed.
And he's probably jacking it.
Ugh.
Disgusting. Where's the mom? She
Oh,
dead?
she's there.
Oh, she's there with him?
Yeah. She's there.
Is she enjoying the porn or what?
No, she just is like
this is what he
ignore it.
watches.
Yeah, just like ignores it, and she doesn't get fed up until he says that he basically wants to practice polygamy and that he wants multiple wives.
Oh, well.
So that's when she's basically fed up, and they end up splitting up. He was allegedly extra hard on Josh. Like, he was hard on all of them, but he was extra hard on Josh to where Josh attempted suicide before in his younger days. And when his wife didn't want polygamy, he would just cheat on her and gave her multiple STDs.
Lovely.
So she did divorce him when Josh was 16. So they find out that Josh and younger brother Michael were very, very close. So they look into Michael.
Oh, my gosh.
And when they look into Michael's email, they see that he was emailing a wrecking yard in Oregon. And they find out that Michael and another sister named Elena drove to Utah to be with Josh and the kids the day after Susan went missing. So brother Michael and brother sister, that's normal, right? Mm-hmm. Your sister-in-law's missing. Let me go and help my brother watch the kids. They stayed there for about 2 weeks. But on their way home, the car that they were driving broke down on the side of the road. And instead of like getting it towed to a mechanic or getting it fixed, they had it towed straight to a wrecking yard and wanted it demolished.
Okay, that's a little extreme.
It's a little extreme. Like, why do you want to get rid of this car when you could probably call insurance and it would pay for it?
Yeah.
But you're going to pay somebody to total it out or just totally get rid of it? A little bit of red flag. And
a little suspicious.
the police also thought so. So before the car was destroyed, they took some cadaver dogs.
Oh, yes.
And the cadaver dogs barked at the trunk of this car, alleging that there had been a dead body in there at one point in time. So then now they can send it for actual forensic testing, but it comes back inconclusive. So they kind of keep hitting these brick walls.
Oh, no.
But police now think that Michael probably helped Josh dispose of Susan's body. So now you got daddy sketchy, husband sketchy, and now you got a sketchy brother?
Yeah, this
family.
family.
I
all
hope your
needs
last
to
name's
go.
not Powell.
Y'all need to go.
Okay, so Big Sister Jen, who's the only logical one in the whole family, she's convinced that somebody in her family, but she really thinks it's Josh, had something to do with Susan's disappearance. So she calls the police, DTF, and she's like, wire me up. I am going to a family dinner, and I am going to corner them, and I am going to get a confession. Wire me up, please, because I want to know what happened to my sister-in-law.
Get it, girl.
I know they do. They like put it in her bra. They put it everywhere, and she is like everything's recorded the whole dinner, and she is just like calm, nonchalant, like nothing sketchy. She's not nervous, and there's having a normal dinner conversation, and then towards the end, they're putting up the dishes, and she corners Josh, and she's basically like, if you did something, if you just admit to it now, you won't get the death penalty. You'll be able to save your life. Just tell me what happened. Like, just get it done. And Josh was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And the daddy was like, what are you talking about? Why would you accuse your brother of this? And so they're ganging up against Jen. Jen has to leave, and she leaves there empty-handed, and she feels so horrible because she does not get a confession.
No, she ain't got nothing.
But she tried. Like, she was down to fine. So Josh moves in with creepy dad and the kids.
Oh, gosh.
And they're working together trying to spin all these crazy stories about Susan. So they're like, we think Susan was having an affair with this journalist, and this journalist also went missing. So they probably went missing together. Like,
okay.
No connection with this journalist.
No. Yeah.
They also are trying to make it seem like Susan was a sexual deviant. And that she probably went and, like, I don't know, joined the sex ring, and that they have all this evidence in Susan's journals, and that it's all going to come out in Susan's journals, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's what they're saying, because there's a lot of media. They're being interviewed, and police eventually get a search warrant for these diaries and these journals that she kept. But when they are getting the search warrant for the diaries, they also find cases and cases of video.
Videotapes.
Yes. They see plastic bags with Susan's name written on them. And in these plastic bags, there was cotton swabs with nail polish on there. There was feminine hygiene products.
Used.
Bloody. There was her hair. There was toenails. There was her underwear. There was over 5,000 photos of Susan. And in some of these photos, Daddy, Steve, would edit himself into the photo.
Oh, no!
Take a drink.
This is BT. I'm out of a drink.
Take a drink. Okay.
This is BTK.
There was also other photos of other women in bathrooms changing. Some younger women, some older women.
How is this guy not a murderer?
So he gets arrested, and maybe he is a murderer. He gets arrested, and because he gets arrested, and this is all in the news, Josh gets the kids taken away from him. So yay. And these kids get to go and live with Susan's parents, which is probably who they should have been with this whole time. He has to get a full psychological. And the Susan's parents says when the kids show up that they are mean, they are violent, they are hateful. Like there's no telling what kind of setting they had been in since their mom had died.
They've been watching porn.
So she puts them in counseling, and while in counseling, one of the oldest boy drew a picture of the family vehicle, and had Dad in the driver's seat, them in the back seat, and in the trunk was Mom. And he says, Mom's in the trunk, but I can't talk about it because it's a secret, and I can't tell secrets.
Oh yeah, you can. So spill it, dude.
Bribe him with something. Goodness. So there's this whole custody battle, and police search Josh's hard drive, and they find kiddie porn on his hard drive.
Oh, no.
But it's not like real kiddie porn. It's like animated or simulated kiddie porn. And so I'm picturing like the Polar Express.
Yeah,
like so it's like animated, but it's still kids. And it's still compromising things happening, but because it's not a real actual kid, it is not against the law. At that time in Utah, but this is Utah.
It's Utah, so you can do anything.
While he was going through the things, and a lot of this is common because, CPS is shit.
Trash.
Even though he has lost custody, he still has rights to see his kids while he's trying to get his kids back, right? So he's going through these exams, but he has to have supervised visitations, and it has to be in public. So they would meet maybe at a Peter Piper Pizza.
Chick-fil-A, whatever.
Yeah, and But this story had gotten so big in the area at that time that it was a
go.
media frenzy.
Yeah. Anywhere he went.
It couldn't happen. So then he was allowed to take those visitations back to his home, in which he did have his own home now because he had to move out of Dad because Dad's pedophile. Even though Susan's parents begged for them not to have visits, CPS allowed it to happen. So on February 5th, yesterday,
Everything
2012,
happens in February.
it was Super Bowl Sunday, and Josh had a visit that morning. So a social worker / supervisor picked them up from Susan's parents' house and took them to Josh's house. And she was walking up to the door, boys one step in front of her, and he opens up the door, rushes the boys in, and slams the door in the supervisor's face.
So he just steals the kids.
Steals
Right
the
from out
kids,
of
does
her.
not let her
Locks the
in.
door.
And when he shuts the door, she gets a whiff of gasoline.
Oh, shit.
Then she calls 911. And listen to this. I mean, this is a long 911 call. We're going to listen to some of it, but I'll tell you the rest of it.
Hey, I'm on a supervised visitation for a court-ordered visit, and something really weird has happened. The kids went into the house, and the parent, the biological parent, whose name is Josh Powell, will not let me in the door. What should I do?
What's the address?
It's 8119, and I think it's 89th. I don't know what the address is.
Okay, that's pretty important for me to know.
I'm sorry, I can't. Just a minute. Let me get in my car and see if I can find it. Nothing like this has ever happened before at these visitations, so I'm really shocked. And I could hear one of the kids crying, but he still wouldn't let me in. Okay, it is just a minute. I have it here. You can't find me by GPS?
No.
She needs to tell him it smelled like gasoline.
Yeah.
Okay, it is,
She's at the house.
I still can't find it.
Ma'am,
I
I'm going to
know.
need you to go to the
I have
street
some urgency.
and the curb and look at the number.
But I think I
You
need
just
help
drove
right
there.
away. He's on a very short lease with CSHS, and CPS has been involved. And this is the craziest thing. He looked right at me and closed the door. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm just waiting to know where you are.
Okay. It's 8119 189th Street, Court East, Puyallup, 98375. And I'd like to pull out of the driveway because I smell gasoline and he won't let me in.
You want to pull out of the driveway because you smell gasoline, but he won't let you...
He won't let me in.
He won't let you out of the driveway?
He won't let me in the house.
Whose house
Got
is
the
it?
kids in the house and he won't let me in. It's a supervised visit.
I understand. Whose house is it?
It's his house.
Josh Powell.
Okay, so you don't live there, right?
No, I don't. No, I'm
The worst
contracted
call
to the
ever.
state to provide supervised visitation.
I see. Okay.
Sir, get off
And
your porn
who is
video.
there to exercise their visitation?
I am.
Oh.
And the visit is with Josh Powell.
And who's
And
supervising?
he's the husband that
Yeah.
I supervise.
I can't.
So you supervise and you're doing the visit?
Oh my
You
God!
supervise yourself?
I supervise myself. I'm the supervisor here.
Wait a minute. If it's a supervised visit, you
Meanwhile-
can't supervise yourself. If you're the
I do
visitor...
supervise myself. I'm the supervisor for the supervised visit.
Okay, well, aren't you the one making the visit? Or is there another
I'm the
parent
one-
that you're supervising?
No, I'm the one that supervises. I pick up the kids at their grandparent,
Yes. And then who visits with the children?
Josh Powell.
Okay, so you're supposed to be there to supervise Josh Powell's visit with the children.
Yes.
That's correct.
Out of custody.
And how did
And he's the husband of missing Susan Powell. This is a high-profile case.
how did he gain access to the children before you got there?
I was one step in back of them.
And they did.
Okay, so they went into the house and then he locked you out.
Yes. He shut the door
Which is
right
what
in my
she
face.
said at the beginning.
Okay,
Your last
Tony.
name?
My name is Elizabeth Griffin Hall.
Griffin Hall is hyphenated?
Oh my God!
And what's your phone number, Elizabeth?
This is how we do.
This cell phone number
Watch, just-
is
it goes- it gets worse.
360-990-9955.
And what agency are you with?
Foster Care Resource Network.
Send the police over.
And the kids have been in there by now approximately 10 minutes.
Just
And he knows this is a supervised visit. 2. Braden is 5 and Charlie is 7.
can't you go? What would you say for her to do? Obviously, send the police, but like, go knock and like go around the back or break
And the dad's
something.
last name?
Powell,
How?
P-O-W-E-L.
Have you not
Powell.
been on? Listen
Who
to
else?
the news.
2 L's at the end of Powell?
Oh my God!
His first name?
He better have
name
been
is
5.
Josh.
It's ridiculous.
Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Native?
Oh my
Black,
God!
white,
what is
Asian,
that?
Hispanic.
Date of birth?
He's white. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
What
He's
you know his
about
birthday?
39.
How
Is he
tall?
an illegal immigrant?
5'10", 150 pounds.
What's his favorite movie? Fruit snack?
Brown.
Does he drink alcohol? Anything else?
Did
Tell
you
me all
notice
about
what
it.
he was wearing?
Okay, so it goes on and on and on.
My gosh, I'm dead. I've not ever heard that
It's
call.
the worst.
How
it's the
long
worst.
is
It's
it?
10 minutes long.
I felt like we went through 10 minutes.
Just to come in and say this.
Oh, okay. I thought you told me we're not recording. Isn't that ridiculous? Josh is pissed right now.
It sounds like a Family Guy cutaway sketch.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh yeah, family.
oh, so wait, what is his name?
Oh yeah.
Friday night.
No urgency. And then she goes, "Have you sent somebody?" He goes, "Oh no, they're doing other emergencies." And she's like, "This could be an emergency. I smell
Utah.
gasoline."
Whatever.
It's Utah.
It don't matter what city when it's in Utah.
It's Utah. So he doesn't send immediately because
Josh is funny.
it's not an immediate issue. Meanwhile, she says, "I hear the kids
It's
crying."
not an immediate issue. At what? How does the guy not know about who this person is? If they're like viral.
Yes.
He can't. This dude can't even go to restaurants.
So they hang up, and then the house explodes.
blows up.
He has doused the house in flames. He blew up himself and the kids. The autopsy later showed that the boys were beaten with an axe or a hatchet. So while you, sir, were asking about height and weight and if there's 2 L's and if her name is hyphenated,
Yes.
these kids were getting attacked with a hatchet.
Yes,
Sir.
sir. Which I hope, sir, you're fired.
Oh, please be fired.
Golly, the worst 911 call operator.
It is
so
the worst.
sorry.
But the axe or hatchet did not kill them. They still died of smoke inhalation.
I do remember that.
So, was this Josh Powell's way of saving his kids from suffering? Like, let me just blunt force trauma you and kill you immediately so that you don't have to burn to death. That's the only way I can think that he did it. See, I don't think he was angry at them. I think he's the one that's like extreme or what was it, obsessed or whatever, to where he can't live without them and they can't live without him.
Yeah.
So let's just all die together. So the boys were also found when they put the fire out. The boys were found laying next to each other and they were holding each other's hands. Oh,
The sweet babies.
I know. 5 and 7, right? 5 and 7, yep. 1 month after the fire, Gross Daddy Stephen
Oh, hell.
pled not guilty on 14 counts of voyeurism and 1 count of child pornography.
Bitch, we got all the videos.
Not guilty. How do you plead not guilty to that?
I don't know.
He was sentenced 10 years in prison.
Good. I hope he got raped and beat and shit and all kinds of stuff.
Brother Michael, that allegedly
Helped.
transported the body,
Oh, gosh.
committed suicide
Oh, hell.
1 year after his dad's trial. Because I think those are the 3 that knew about it.
Yep.
And Josh took it to the grave. Daddy took it to the grave, and it is killing Michael. So he went to a 7-story parking garage and jumped his ass off.
Ow.
I know.
I would have to be so, like, numb of whatever. I don't know.
How can you make yourself
I
jump?
don't want to splat. Like, ow.
In July of 2017, Daddy Powell was released from jail.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. And of course, throughout, the detectives had been trying to question him and like find out what's happened. So when he had a heart attack, he was in a halfway house. He had a heart attack, and so police heard that he was basically on his deathbed. So they were like, "Let's go get a deathbed confession. Like maybe he wants to try to save his soul." Well, he died before they could even get there.
He didn't save his soul to anybody else? He didn't tell him?
Nobody. He did not tell anybody. He was gone before they get there. So they all literally took this to their grave.
Oh, no.
They did go through Daddy Stevens' things, and they found some journals. He was a journaler, a diarier. And they had found a journal entry from December 8th, which is the day after they were all reported missing. And it said, "I feel like Josh did a really stupid thing and probably disposed of her body in a really grotesque way. I think he went to some formal industrial land and cremated her. Josh's life with Susan was utterly miserable. And evidently, this tragedy is my answer to why Josh hung on so long. He wanted to do it his way rather than cause a messy, costly divorce."
I can't.
I hate that excuse.
I don't think that's what happened. I think that Daddy got turned down, and so he got pissed
And did it, and then Josh helped
And then
him?
he wrote it out on that letter because that's what he did, and he's putting the blame on Josh. I don't know.
I feel like Josh's MO was fire. Like, if he cremated her, burned her, that makes sense. And then he went and burned himself. And so that does make sense. And he wrote this before the blow up even happened. So obviously, Josh, he made the better choice. Let me blow up my family instead of get a divorce. I mean,
yeah.
Simple
that's
decision.
Literally what you do typically.
Susan has never been found. Never. They searched mines. They searched everywhere. And has never been found. And big sister Jennifer, has never forgiven herself. She wanted answers for her sister-in-law, and she felt like she failed the Powell family and Susan and the boys because she couldn't get that confession.
Your fault. They would have never confessed.
It's the worst. That's a bad story.
They're all dead, and she's not found. I hate it.
So he probably did burn her up, and then snow came, and then seasons came, and then, maybe a animal will come across a bone, but
yeah,
I don't know. That's one we find out in the hereafter, I guess.
It's like Susan Morphew. Like whatever happened to the girl in San Antonio, the lady in San Antonio? Did they ever find her body? They
didn't.
Suzanne Simpson.
Simpson?
Yeah.
Suzanne Morphew.
Oh hell! If you Susan or Suzanne or Susie.
What's Mike's wife's name?
Suzanne.
Suzanne. This might be your indicator.
Mike, it could be a red flag. Well, let's add that to our red flag list. Any name that starts with an S.
It's a Suzanne.
Oh, what a good, great, terrible story.
No, it was terrible. But there's another family annihilator, and those never get old to me.
No.
Because they just
they're wild.
the reasonings
Just never
amaze
make
me.
sense.
Yeah, and it just amazes me that it's so logical to them at the time. And how could it ever be?
Or they...
Or they're that selfish.
It's, yeah, doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
It's also crazy how many characteristics him and Dirty Chad had together.
I know.
There was so many. If we were doing a Venn diagram, there would be a lot of things in the middle. Dirty Chad and Josh Powell. There'd be a lot of things in the middle. Okay, y'all. There is our Valentine's Day episode. Happy Valentine's Day. Have a great weekend. Happy birthday, Caroline. We will see y'all next week for a whole new week of Bloody Happy Hour, and we will bring back the quickies.
Oh, yes, we will.
Don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network